Jamey's House of Music. We've been here for 8 years, and it's been billed as the finest listening room for live music on the planet, so I'm told. I've been in this business for 58 years and started out, probably when I was about 9 years old when my parents bought me an accordion and started giving me lessons. So I became the polka king of West Side Buffalo when I was a wee boy. Got to high school and discovered that girls weren't interested in accordion players. So I switched to piano, which is an obvious choice, but the piano was too heavy to carry to gigs. So I switched to guitar. And I joined a band that already had 2 guitar players and needed a bass player. Hence my long and storied career with a bass guitar.
If you were to swing, baby, I'd be an open sky.
In my touring days, I was with a band called Music Orbis, which was based out of Philadelphia. So we were doing a tour and had a gig at the Walnut Theater, which is a very cool theater. While I was down here, we toured all around, went to all the cool neighborhoods in Philly, Germantown, which is absolutely gorgeous architecture. And so I kind of fell in love with it. It's like a Goldilocks-sized city, not too big, not too small. So I always had it in the back of my mind that this would be a cool place to set up shop. It started from the high school bands, and I moved from my home in Buffalo to Rochester, New York, where I went to electrical engineering college, met other artists and musicians there, started a band in Rochester, and started learning about the blues when I lived in Rochester. And there's an old blues man named Son House. People will recognize that name, who lived in Rochester at the time, and we tried to pull him out of retirement. He was too far gone. He was sick and old and didn't want to play with a bunch of young white boys. So, but we soldiered on without him, and the whole band picked up and moved to Boston, which is really where I cut my musical teeth. Living in Boston for so many years, I met a lot of people, worked for sound companies, toured all over the world, did sound for just about every name band in the business, except for the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. Just about everybody else, Beach Boys, Who, Frank Zappa, Captain Beefheart, you name it, Aerosmith. So that's how I got into music. And I played, I played with other blues players. I got to meet and play with people like John Lee Hooker, who was a real hero of mine. And we did a show at the Fenway Theater where I was one of the principals. And we hired Paul Butterfield, Mike Bloomfield, and all of the original members from the Butterfield Blues Band, Mark Naftalin, John Kahn, Billy Mundy, and put on a reunion show for the Butterfield Blues Band, which was a smash hit. And that really just cemented my love for the blues. And I'm still a blues man, tried and true. So we did it in Philly for a while, but we looked for a commercial venue, about a 30-mile radius around Philadelphia, and finally found this place. And to me, it just screamed Greenwich Village. This is kind of a lower New York club. So we bought the building and converted it into a first-rate music listening room. Yeah. We've got the best eclectic Asian-infused American menu. It's very eclectic. You know, you won't find a menu like this just about anywhere else, but people rave about the food. They come here and, you know, I pride myself on the music aspect, but my wife steals my thunder, hands down. People say they come for the food and stay for the music, which is fine with me. I can design stuff like this, and I have. I've built equipment for, I've built boards for people like Emmylou Harris, speakers for Bonnie Raitt, you name it, you know, my equipment. I've even, with DBX, I've got equipment that went up to outer space, which is pretty cool. I built a special mixer for CBS that went to the top of Mount Everest with the 1977 Mount Everest expedition. So we've got a camera. It's a broadcast quality camera up here. We also have a handheld so we can do 2 shots, but we use a static camera for most of the shows. And we stream everything live. What you see up here is what actually goes out on the internet. The Philadelphia Blues Society, we picked up the ball and ran with it and got all of the local blues players together in the Philadelphia region and formed the nonprofit organization, the Philadelphia Blues Society. The mission is to preserve, present, and promote the blues as a living African-American art form that started in the American South in the 1800s during slavery, when the people who were out in the fields would call and respond, taking some of the African musical traditions with them. When the Underground Railroad was happening, this became kind of a coded language where they would work in, you know, oh, so-and-so got away, you know, they went up to Kansas City or Memphis, and now they're up in Chicago. So little by little, the art form, musical art form, took root down there, and it, from maybe the Piedmont, you know, Carolinas, all the way to Texas, the acoustic blues, folk blues, took root. And then as it moved north, you know, Kansas City, Memphis, and then up to Chicago, and it spread east and west from there, became electrified. And Chicago was really the driving wheel for that. A lot of the black blues musicians picked up the electric guitar and started playing, and they really changed the feel of the blues. It kept the 12-bar basic structure, but they expanded it and, you know, added other instrumentation as well, drums, bass, keyboards. You know, whereas in the South it was mostly just an acoustic guitar and a harmonica. You know, sometimes a Jew's harp or even a wash tub. The blues is a feeling more than anything. It's a very simple musical art form. Any child who picks up a guitar can learn the blues. You know, it's a 1-4-5 structure, a 12-bar or an 8-bar, sometimes a 16-bar form, but it's what's in the feeling that's being played that makes it the blues. That's the hard part. The House of Music presents a stage for artists of you know, different genres to present on, and our whole ethos in designing it, first as a musician, my wife as a chef, was to make a place that respected people, had flawless hospitality, would welcome people in and show the music in a form like it was meant to be heard. You know, not as a commercial venture, just between me, you, and a million listeners. In the 8 years, we've never taken a penny out of this place. You know, we don't have a salary. Our staff gets paid, but we do it for the love of music. We do it for people.
Right or wrong, ruled by justice, gotta take so damn long. I'm afraid, maybe I was born to lose. I can't fix the world right now, gotta play my blues.
Blues, he needed some Chicago blues in the area, and they sent for me. We're on tour right now. But it's not all about infidelity like most stereotypical blues songs. My woman did me bad and all that. I try not to dip into that bag because it's, you know, Gay Mouth Brown used to call it woman hating songs. And I don't, and I agree with that. I do not do any woman hating songs. The guys like Muddy Waters and Earl Hooker, John Lee Hooker, Albert King, Freddie King, like all of those guys before me, those are all my favorite because they paved the way for me to play the blues and to, especially coming from Chicago. Jazz is technical. It has feeling. Blues, we have 3 chords to create a feeling and emotion. Jazz can go all over the place, chord-wise, free-form, whatever. That's why some of my blues is considered contemporary because my stories, sometimes you can't get in just 3 chords. I have to use a couple more chords with, so it lends itself to maybe R&B or folk music, things like that, you know. So
I seen it all, heard it all. Women say they love me, but they don't love me at all. I hate love. It's just a word. I hate love. It's just an urge. It's an illusion of life. It's all in your mind. Confusing yourself. Living a lie. Women try to change me. I can't be tied down no way. Women want commitment, but that's not how I play. I hate love. It's just a word, y'all. I hate love.
for me, I was a bus driver for CTA in Chicago for 29 years, playing the blues on the side. And to me, it was kind of like, I wouldn't say a side hustle, but it was something that I didn't just want to be known as a bus driver. You know what I mean? It's like I play a little guitar. I can put some words together, make a song. I didn't want to die just a bus driver.